button.
Hello, everybody. We are here. This is being recorded during the 2020 24-hour June 10th call, and
2020.
I'm going to be
Funny.
interviewing none other than the man himself, the inventor of June 10th, Mop.
June 10th is here. Raise your hand if you're not a queer.
My hand is raised.
Hand high.
My hands are in the air. Like I just don't care. Rexro's got the hands up in the chat.
Raise.
Hands up, don't shoot.
True.
So basically, oh, it looks like there's a lot of people in the call, but there's not. It's just me, Mop, and Rexro. Coco and Thord are
Fuck
asleep.
the frauds who didn't do shit on post. Said they would show, but what are they? I don't know.
I don't know. For now, Rexro's gonna be our live audience, I guess, and then we got two people sleeping. Basically,
Shout out Rexro.
yeah, shoutouts to Rexro. This is a continuation in our ongoing back and forth series, it seems, of Mop and I interviewing each other. It started when I interviewed Mop in 2015 on Frizzy Style. Then in 2018, Mop interviewed me in Super Mario Bros. 2, his LP that has been lost. Then,
Black style. And I just want to say, all of you people who didn't watch that, y'all suck.
you missed out.
Y'all
I
suck.
don't know if anyone watched it. I don't know if a single person.
Exactly,
besides
but
me.
we did. I watched it.
I watched it. I watched myself get interviewed. Then,
True.
in 2018, I interviewed Mop again for Nighttime Nostalgia. Then in 2019, Mop interviewed me in his Soul Silver LP, which was never uploaded. That was at the
Forever
meetup.
lost.
Forever lost. But those at the meetup were a live audience, so they got to witness it.
Who's listening in 2040?
Who's listening in 2040? And then that brings us to 2020. I will now be interviewing Mop for the third time. For the third time. This is like Nardwar and Snoop Dogg, man. We just doing-
2040.
listening in 2040?
In 20 years, we'll be doing our like 80th interview.
At STC.
In 20 years, on this exact day, we'll probably be doing a fucking interview.
And it'll be STC Meetup 33629.
Facts. Facts. And I hope Poppy is doing a private performance for us by that point. I hope by that point we bought her out. She's just performing. She's just forever performing in our fucking SDC mansion backyard.
Yeah. Funded by Magic the Gathering cards. So, today is June 10th. We just dropped Real Nigga Hours 2, the sequel to Real Nigga Hours. I gotta ask, just real generally, what are your thoughts on the album? How did it turn out?
Holy fuck. Okay. Wow. This album turned out fucking amazingly. I love how no matter how you look at it as a prequel or if you look at it as the story continues after RNH, either way you look at it, it's perfect. Like, this album itself is perfect. The flow is perfect. Fucking album art. The RNH 2 is all I could ever ask for. There's so much flavor in it. Yeah, we both just really we did it with this one. Yo, we did it with this one.
I agree.
There's not a single bad second on this new album.
True. The whole
Some-
hour and 4 minutes is a
True.
journey.
Our longest album yet, and that's some more shit I have to say. Our longest album yet, it took us the shortest amount of time to put it together,
True.
and we pushed the date forward. This was supposed to come out in 2021, people.
Yeah. And then we were like, oh, we're gonna have it done this year. Let's release it on Halloween. And then we were like,
True.
we've made so much progress. We might as well just release it on June 10th.
Fact.
So we
And now it's out.
we got this shit pushed. We were 7 months ahead of schedule. That's how ahead we were. It is. It is higher quality.
I agree.
I believe so.
I agree. I agree so much. And yeah, that's another thing. It's just RNH2 is like kind of higher quality in like so many regards. Like it is the perfect fucking sequel. Prequel.
Or whatever. It's the perfect
Yeah, whatever you want to
perfect
call it.
follow up. Whatever it is.
Yeah, that shit was just like for how impulsive it was to have it
I know.
put it together like so quickly. Like we really did that shit. Like every single track fucking slaps. I don't know. Nothing else to say. Everything slaps, yo.
Hell yeah. I'm sure we'll
The
talk.
flow throughout is amazing.
It is. Yeah, it really is. And I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say with your fun facts on Twitter and whatnot.
True.
But just as a general overview, that's what it is. If that sounds appealing to you, check it out. Support it.
Vaporwave, motherfuckers. You like Vaporwave? Do you like music? Because we have the best.
The best. And
Mopsmusic.bandcamp.com.
what more? What more could you ask for? It's everything you could ever want is at that link.
9 plus 9 equals 18.
Not 17.
Not 17. We did not deprive you people.
High and deprived.
I am deprived. 18 plus only.
True. Facts. So we're here on June 10th, and
We're here on June 10th.
the direction, basically your channel, I would say, is in a much different place than it was when you started uploading to it on June 10th, 2018. So I want to ask you, what is the direction that you have in mind for your channel?
That's a question that I don't even know the answer to.
Hmm.
But as of right now, I will say, Zashin, you're gonna see a lot of music visuals on there, people. I'm still thinking about what I want to do for Insomnia Mop, but I know you're gonna see a Mop Frizzy visual on there. You're gonna see a grad school visual on there. You're gonna see an RNH and RNH2 visual on there. You're gonna see what kind of visual? You're gonna have to wait and see. 18 plus only.
Ooh.
Yeah. And you're also gonna see the future is now not necessarily a visual, but that shit's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
LPs are not really on the radar as of right now, which was not to say in 2018.
Right, because in 2018 there was like that was the thing. The surprise was all these collab LPs.
All the LPs.
So I guess to go a little deeper, I want to ask one. So for those who don't know, Mop recently deleted all of his LPs and his showdown battles. That's not new. That's not out of the ordinary. But but I want to ask, like, this is the first time I think you've really like made a hard commit to not doing that type of content. I want to ask you, one, what made you want to stop doing that kind of content, and two, to a point that Cody actually made in chat the other day, why not leave those videos up even on unlisted for as an archive?
Two, okay, one, cause I just it was like, okay, LPing and like making the video and all that stuff, actually making the video and all that stuff was just kind of becoming a bear because there's other shit I want slash need to do. And like I'm really bad with prioritizing things, and I would also prioritize making the videos over other shit that I actually needed to do. So that's one reason. And and another reason is I felt like in order to play the games, I had to be recording, and I just want to like play games. Like I don't want to like have to be recording them. And number three, I just deleted them. I mean, I wasn't really thinking anything of it, really, but just because nobody was watching them, I guess, and I just didn't think anybody would. Because, like, they weren't full LPs. Like, they were only, like, 6, 7 parts in for each. So I was just like, fuck that.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess this time around, not a lot was lost.
Yeah, that was the other thing, too. Like, there was no real memorable moments to keep in this time. Like, we released Grad School in this era, but that's an album, and that's, like, kept, that's not really Zacian.
Like, I think the question about archiving is more applicable to when you deleted your shit in September, but I can't really ask that question because you weren't in the right state of mind when you did that.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking exactly.
I guess from my perspective, I just I place such a value on archiving, and like they said, I'm the archivist on John's stream. That's what they call me. They call me the archivist. I place such a value on that and preserving history that it's kind of like I don't know. Like to me, even like just minor shit, like the stuff like in that time span prior to when you deleted them most recently, like to me that's the kind like I would have privated those videos, like unless a video is absolutely horrible and cringeworthy, it's something I would never want anyone to see. I can't bring myself to delete it. Like I just can't do it.
I can. Fuck that shit. I'm like, get it out.
Yeah, same Rexro. Like I still have my cringe.
Ew, I do not. Okay, for some things that I deleted, I'm like, God fucking damn it, I wish I would have never deleted it. But there's other things that I deleted that I'm like, thank the Lord I deleted that shit. Because there are some things that I don't even know. All I know is I used to record everything back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just so glad I don't have that stuff.
But still, like, there's some shit, man. There's some shit that it just, like, like, I can't deal with the loss of some of the shit that we've lost. Like, it physically hurts me, some of the stuff we've lost.
True.
And I think, I don't know, I think that's probably just my perspective, is that, like, I don't want to feel that, so I just save everything. But you probably just have a more discerning eye for that stuff, and you're able to see what's worth keeping and what's worth deleting, I guess. Because like you said,
not necessarily true. I just delete a lot. Like I let it all burn down way too much.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's fun though.
I think maybe
it's so fun. It's so fun.
I think maybe we're just on two opposite ends of extremes.
Probably.
Like,
oh, definitely.
Like the right answer is probably somewhere in the middle.
True. I agree.
So since we're talking about LPing, like you like all of us, have a very deep history in Let's Playing, and
Facts.
like 2010, like that's like early days, right? So
facts.
my question for you is, what do you think is the direction of Let's Playing, just based off of
Mhm.
what you've seen and the evolution of it? And do you think that Let's Playing, as it existed, like when we started getting into it, do you think that there's any future at all for that style of Let's Playing?
No.
Really? So where do you think it's going? Like, how do you think it's evolved?
I just think that now, well, I don't know. What I'm about to say really is like not that good because I'm about to say why it's not that good. I was gonna say we have established people, and that's like what it is. Like I don't see it really changing, especially right now, because I was gonna say like look at fucking Chugga Conroy. He's been around forever. He's still around, and then look at everybody else that tries to fucking LP, and then like there's nobody that can be big. Like
Yeah.
it's good to do LP if you like to do it, but
Right.
if you're doing it to become something or anything like that, there's already people that are established like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think LPing is like fine and okay for people that are doing it, but I don't see it really changing like the style. Like I think that it's kind of dead.
Mm.
As in, I don't really see much evolving unless the style, like if LPing wants to stay alive, I feel like they have to change how it's done. Like something needs to change
Right.
if they want new people. If they want new people to arise,
Right. But
like I think we have our established people, and that's gonna stay, and that's fine, and they're great because they're great at what they do, and why
right.
change it?
It's hard for a I agree. It's hard for a new person to break through. Right.
And
Yeah.
that's the other thing. Streaming's
Yes.
big now. That
Yes.
was not big back in the day. That's the other thing I
Exactly.
keep forgetting about. Streaming is so fucking big now, and that's where the big money is.
Yeah.
Where
For
like all those
gaming,
smaller people.
I agree. Streaming is much more lucrative for gaming now, and
Yeah, that's
it's
where the future is. It's in streaming, which it's been in streaming for a little bit now,
yeah,
but like
yeah.
the present, I guess.
But do you think the fact that some of the LPers from back in the day, some of the OGs like Chugga Conroy, do you think the fact that they are still cemented at the top, like, do you think that demonstrates that there's still a significant demand for that type of content? Or do you think that, like, they've changed their content in some substantive way? Because for me, with Chugga Conroy, I don't see it. Like, I watched some of his new Mystery
I feel
Dungeon.
like he's just gained a following, and the following is just stuck with him for who he is as a person.
Yeah,
Maybe
that could
not
be it.
his content, because like I feel you, like I don't feel like his like video style has really ever changed.
Yeah, like it's gotten more well edited, but
Yeah, true.
it's not like you look at someone like fucking like take Shofu for example. Even though Shofu was yeah he was kind of an LP. He's done LPs. You look at like he used to do like the same like format. I just choose Shofu because he's one of he's been around for a long time. So Shofu like he had like just the standard Pokemon LPs back in the day, and you look at like what he does now. It's like Soul Link, Egglocke, fucking Backgammon. Like you gotta keep making him crazier and crazier because I think
True.
people can only watch you play through a Pokemon game the same way so many times.
So many
But
times.
the counterpoint to that is what I found really interesting lately is the return of Luroy. And
Yeah.
if you want to talk about not changing at all, Leroy has not changed his style at all. He is literally doing everything. If you put his Pokemon Crystal LP like next to something from like next to his like I don't know Fire Red Leaf Green LP, like I wouldn't think that anything substantive has changed in between those two, and it's really incredible because he still has a strong fan base. The LP's doing pretty well view wise. It's getting high engagement, and to me, it's like, sure, you could maybe say it's nostalgia pandering, but I feel like that only works so much. And like when you look at someone like Chugga Conroy with the longevity, it's 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 like the format itself can't be carried by nostalgia if it was truly a dead format. What's the recipe for success with with like these guys?
Like I said with Chugga, like it's the person. Like I think they're sticking with the person,
Mm-hmm.
like the personality maybe. But I guess I don't know though, because I feel like both of them are kind of like not that interesting. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. I never really watched either of them. Like to be completely honest, I've never sat through an entire Leroy LP or an entire Chugga LP, and I couldn't. I could not
Mm.
make myself do that. But I think the people that do, um, yeah, maybe they like Leroy as a person or Chugga as a person, and then also I feel like the nostalgia does also play into it.
Right. With the thing with Chugga is like, I don't know, like I have a great amount of respect for Chugga,
Same.
but like, dude, I I don't know. When I was a kid, like in 2010, 2011, I loved Chugga Conroy, but now I can't watch his content. Like, I tried to watch his Mystery Dungeon DX LP, and I got like 8 parts in, and like then I was like I just couldn't make it to sleep.
Oh, but that's the thing. That's the other reason why they stay in. It's like his personality is for children.
That's the thing. Is it the
So
same people, or is he just getting a new generation of kids every year?
no, he's probably getting a new generation of kids, but like I think some people stick around like for nostalgia. Like I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people do, but I think some people. Like I feel like he has dedicated fans that do stick
Oh
around just
yeah.
because they. But like yeah, I think the thing is, especially with Chugga, I think he's getting maybe new children. But I feel like with Leroy, it might be a lot of nostalgia because his views and shit aren't like the best.
Right. It's not Chugga's level because I mean,
Exactly.
YouTube
But he's
punishes
not
you for taking
consistent.
breaks. Leroy took a very long break, whereas
Yeah.
Chugga has never really taken that long of a break. Like
Yeah.
he'll take like a little bit of a break in between LPs, but it's always very consistent and very short. So that's the algorithm aside. I think I don't know, to me it's very strange because I agree with you that Let's Playing in the way that we were taught and the way like all the guys that we wanted to emulate, like it's impossible to get big that way, but there's still a demand for the content. Even if it's only from dedicated fan bases, or even if it is only or largely attributed to nostalgia baiting, it's still it's still weird because it's
Yeah, there's still demand.
but
I just feel
compare
like it's for those people that are already established though. Like they don't want anybody new for now.
yeah well, I mean yeah, but it's still weird to me that like even the people that are established are still doing really well because when you look at like maybe Chugga's a bit of an exception to this because he does put a lot of editing into his videos now. But if you look at Leroy, like let's be real, I love Leroy, but his videos are pretty low effort. His videos are pretty low effort, and yet people, myself included, I've watched every part of his Crystal LP. Like we eat them up. Like it's and it's not even like Leroy's like a crazy funny dude or anything, but there's just something about it. There's a reason that we fell in love with the format, and I can't figure out what I can't figure out why people stay in love with it as they get older, and but on the flip side, I don't understand why people fall out of love with it, because it's not something that can only be enjoyed by children. I like that's obvious, but at the same time, to me, it seems like people would just be attracted to the more high effort content if you want to refer to it like that. So I don't know. I just thought you might have some insight on this since it kind of seems like since you're stopping doing it, that maybe you had kind of fallen out of love with the format.
Yeah. I have fallen out of love with the format, but the thing was is like to be completely honest, I don't know if I was ever really super in love with the
Mm.
format. The thing was is like I never really watched LPing all that much. I
Mm.
watched a few episodes of people because everybody else was watching.
Mm.
And then I could never really get myself to watch a full LP. Even like yeah, like I said, I never watched a full Chugga or Leroy LP or anything like that. But like I always did it because that's how I wanted to like I don't know. For me, that was just like okay, number one, that's an easy thing to post. Like that's an
Mm.
easy way to make videos. Number two, I can play the game
Right,
and
and
like
you enjoy
interact
the
with friends
game.
while I play the
Right,
game.
right.
So that's good. And yeah. But like, yeah, I don't know. With like the problem with why I can't talk too much on their personalities is just because I didn't watch them all that much.
Mm-hmm.
But with if I had to take a guess, it's with Chugga, I feel like there's new kids coming in all the time. And then with Leroy, I feel like it's more nostalgia. And
Yeah.
I could see Leroy dying back out again really soon.
Yeah. I think if he disappears
Unfortunately.
again.
Like I think it's cool he's back.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome that Leroy's back, and something that I think can be responsible maybe for some of his more of his success this time is that I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who's noticed this, but when you look at his comeback in 2016 and compare it to
Uh-huh.
his comeback now, he just when you look at his like commentary and his tone, he seems like he's genuinely enjoying it now, whereas in his 2016 comeback it seems like he just kind of did it to like satisfy people. But it seems like with this, he's
Yeah.
genuinely enjoying it right now, and I think that's part of what makes has made his Crystal piece so enticing for me. Is that it's not like it's not like that I fucking hate this about modern LPs, if you can even call them LPs. But like people, they just scream. They're like, "What's going on, guys?"
True.
Whereas Leroy, he'll be like, be a little loud in the intro, a little energetic, like, "What's going on, everybody? It's Leroy." And but then like he just talks like a normal person talking about the game. And that's another crazy thing. Is like I know myself included. Like I never talk about the game, but
True.
I
Fuck that shit.
I think it takes like a special talent to be able to sit and talk by yourself about this game that's been out for 20 years and everyone on the internet has talked about, and yet you're somehow able to still make it like not boring. Like I think in a sense Leroy, regardless of whether it's YouTube or some other platform, I think that Leroy has a very natural gift for entertainment as long as he's enjoying it. So I think that in a sense, like Leroy can never die out as long as he's enjoying it because it's so infectious. That's so infectious because with every other LP it seems so fake. Like right.
I mean, I guess I just haven't watched any LPers. I literally have not.
But like like you've watched enough like 2 second clips to know that like everyone's just like screaming and fucking
Yeah, I hate those people.
yeah. So I'll move on from the art of LP. I don't know. That's just something I've been thinking about because it's like I don't know. The market definitely got oversaturated at some point, and yet the same people still stand out, or some
True.
of them do. I don't know. A lot of these people had to go get real jobs, but
True.
some stand out, and that's just really
Fucking Tucker
interesting.
Conroy.
Yeah, like the longevity of Chugga Conroy is something that everyone, regardless of whether you like his content, like I said, I don't fucks with it that much anymore. I did when I was younger, for sure, but like, regardless, like you have to respect Chugga Conroy.
Hell yeah.
Like that man has done it. Like we wouldn't be here. Like this STC wouldn't exist without Chugga Conroy. Like that's just a fact. So yeah, shout outs to Chugga Conroy. Shout outs to all the OG LPers, the ones still here and the ones forgotten. Let's move let's move into a bit of a more speculative thing. Or I guess that was pretty speculative, but let's move into something more directly related to STC. We're gonna talk, and I talked about this with Cam. I talked about it with Umbi. I'm just continuing the trend. We're gonna talk about STC meetup tournaments.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people don't know that. Well, everyone knows this, but a lot of people don't realize how big it is. You are the only person besides me to win an STC meetup tournament. A lot of people may sleep on you because of your results in other tournaments, but you are the only person besides me to win an STC tournament. You are the undefeated air hockey champion. That game,
Crazy.
That game unfortunately did not make it onto the roster for this year, but I've got to ask, what do you think your prospects are for this year? Because in the past, you've performed very well in air hockey, but not so much in other games. Do you think you have better prospects this year?
What are the games again?
Pokemon, Smash Ultimate, Pokken Tournament, and Mario Kart 8.
So I'm gonna get killed in Pokemon, but I'm gonna kill in Mario Kart, and that's all.
You don't think you have any prospects in Smash or Pokken?
I'll probably get killed, but that's all right because I'll kill in Mario Kart.
Do you think you'll win Mario Kart?
Yeah.
You hear that, Rexro? He's gonna kick your ass. He said, "Fuck you." He said, "Fuck the second place world champion." I believe it. I'm with Mop on this one. So do you think you have a chance at top 3 this year?
No. Just being honest.
You think you're so you think you're roughly going to do the same as last year?
Probably, and that's okay because we've released so much music this year.
True.
Who gives a fuck about the games?
I give a fuck about the game. I love the game.
I'm throwing my Switch out the window.
That's fucked up. You could sell that shit.
Bitches in Africa want a Switch because it's out of stock. No, I'm throwing mine out the window.
You could sell that shit for some
out the window. Window out.
So since you have no faith in your own prospects, let's ask your thoughts on your other competitors. What do you think the overall results are going to be?
What are the games again?
If you had to make a crazy guess, we got Smash Ultimate, Pokemon, Pokken, and Mario Kart.
Ultimate, Pokken, and Mario Kart, and Ultimate. I'm gonna... I don't even know. This is hard.
It is.
Like, I'll say Rexro coming third.
Third?
Yeah.
Damn.
Wait, let me rethink this. The problem is like, I don't know how the, first of all, I don't know who in this group be playing Pokken. Okay.
Basically just me and Rexro. It's literally just me
and Rexro.
Oh,
Rexro plays it. You play it? Okay.
I mean, we both have. I haven't played in a while. I'm a little rusty. Gonna have to shake the rust off. I don't know about Rexro, but Rexro's got some hours in it.
Cam doesn't play it.
Cam does not.
Okay, then Rexro is probably gonna get first.
Mm-hmm.
If he comes through on Pokken, and if he wait, do you have Pokken?
I have Pokken, yeah.
Oh.
And I have the Pokken controller.
Rexro, do you have Pokken controller? Oh, okay. See, the things change up a little bit here.
I mean, it's probably not that different on the Pro Controller.
Uh-oh. The thing is with Rexro is good at Mario Kart, which is a big
Yes.
advantage.
Yes, it is.
Like, he's good at
Remember,
Mario
the
Kart.
4 games we are playing are the 4 games that Rexro voted for.
Yeah, this is big advantage for Rexro. So actually, I feel like I see Rexro coming through and getting the first. Maybe.
I think it's highly possible.
Yeah.
Because I severely underestimated his placing last year.
I'll say you for second and GamerCam for third because GamerCam doesn't have Pokken,
Right.
and although he has Mario Kart, I'm like you'll beat him in Smash and Pokken probably,
Yeah.
and like we're gonna kill him in Mario Kart. So like, I just feel like it'll probably be like Rexro, you, Cam. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I agree with Cam at third, and I think it's a toss up between me and Rexro. I think Rexro's advantaged though. I think
True.
Rexro's advantaged. I think what it's going to come down to is so Smash Ultimate's very important. I think
Fact.
I have to beat Cam. I have to get first in Smash Ultimate again. If I want to get first, I think we have to have the same results in Smash as last year. Me at first, Cam at second, Rexro at third. And then for Pokemon, obviously I have to win that. I think I will, but Rexro, if Rexro gets second, that could severely, which he probably will. Let's be real, Rexro will get second again. I don't see Cam or anyone else beating him in Pokemon. For Poken's very important. If Rexro gets first in Pokken, I think that guarantees him the victory. If I get first in Pokken, that could guarantee me the victory as well. And then in Mario Kart, if Rexro beats you in Mario Kart, he wins the whole thing. Like that's just
Fact.
like. But if you can hold him off, if you can beat him in Mario Kart, so if you,
I don't know. To be completely honest, I haven't played video games in a minute.
if I win Smash Ultimate, win Pokken, and you beat Rexro Mario Kart, I think I win. Mathematically, I think I win. But those are 3 not very certain things. Like if any one of those, if I choke in Pokken or Smash Ultimate, I think it's rest in peace for my streak. But we will see. I have faith in you in Mario Kart. I really do, because when you were rusty as fuck playing Eric, and you were still beating him. So that's how it be. No, Rexer, you were the dark horse last year. Now that we know how balanced your gaming skills are, now you're just a threat. Now you're just a threat. I think I predicted you'd get 4th last year and you got 2nd. So I don't know, man. I don't even know. But Cam's 3rd place streak is going to continue. Let's be real. He tried to say it wouldn't in his interview, but we all know Cam's 3rd place streak is going to continue. And,
True.
That's just how it be. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about that. What do you think? What do you think about air hockey not making it? This is our first year without air hockey.
I'm sad, but maybe if I was in the group when that was being decided, maybe it would still be a game.
Maybe it would have been. Maybe. But you know what? You got Mario Kart.
True.
If we had Mario Kart and air hockey, then Mop would be a threat.
Yeah, we need that.
We need the Mop threat. So we've talked a lot about Pokemon, like tangentially, but we haven't actually talked about Pokemon. So I gotta ask, as someone who's not like a hardcore Pokemon player anymore, what do you think of the direction of the series, particularly just with the games? And I don't know, where do you think the series is headed? And how do you feel about it? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you not sure?
Man. uh, I want them Sinnoh remakes.
True.
That's what I want. I didn't even play Sword and Shield enough to comment on it.
Right.
I beat Unova, and I also beat Alola. And those were two great regions. No, Kalos sucks. I
Oh yeah,
I do not
you
like
did beat
Kalos. I
Kalos.
did say fuck Kalos.
You beat Kalos too. I'll give you credit. You beat it.
I beat Kalos, but I hate that place. I hate that place. There's like not many places in Pokemon that I. How could you not beat Kalos? Well, I
True.
beat it.
He
I
did beat
beat
it.
it. I beat it and I recorded it. And that's where we played the compliment game, I think, and fucking Mox was rude to me.
True. True.
I am okay with where the games are as long as the music doesn't get bad. And I really need a Sinnoh remake.
Yeah, I'd agree.
That's all I really have to say about it. Like so far for all 15 minutes that I've played of Sword, it looks good.
I yeah, I think you'll like Sword and Shield, mainly just because the soundtrack's amazing.
True. I like all 2 songs I've heard so far.
So basically, to me, it seems like Pokemon has kind of had I don't know if I'd call it a comeback because it wasn't really like dead recently, but we do know that the past fiscal year for Pokemon was its second best year in history, only outdone by the Pokemon Go boom. So it seems like Pokemon, whatever they're doing something right, and
It's that Switch game, man.
yeah, I mean, the Switch is definitely responsible for some of it, but
Thank you, Switchy.
rather than speculating about Pokemon and its boom, I want to ask you: are there any other games or series that maybe kind of died off, or stuff that you were into when you were younger that you would like to see have a boom or a comeback?
Dance Dance Revolution.
Mmm. That shit.
That's it.
That shit, man.
Yeah, I would like to see a boom of Dance Dance Revolution again. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? No, there's not. Dance Dance Revolution needs to come back. America's fat, everybody. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe because we stopped fucking putting Dance Dance Revolution in fucking arcades.
Yeah, man. DDR died off hard. Like, it died. At least in America, that shit died hard.
And look at the obesity rate of America.
True.
Skyrocketing.
True.
Gee, I wonder why. Bring back DDR, bitches.
Yeah, even though I was never in the DDR that much, but I think it represents a very important like aspect of just gaming and arcade culture. Like, I think, like, I don't know, like just something about it, something about just the aesthetic of it is like, I don't want that to go away. I think that should be
True.
that should always be a staple in arcades. So yeah, I think that would be a really good boom to see. I would like to see. I don't think this is gonna happen. But I would like to see another boom of Bakugan. They had the new anime series. They started releasing the new game last year, and it doesn't seem like it's doing all that well. I haven't heard that much about it, but I don't know. It would be nice to see, you know. I'd be down to play some Bakugan. That's all I'm saying.
My mom brought Bakugan up to me the other day.
Really?
Yeah, she was like, "What happened to those things you were playing with?" And I was like, "The Bakugan." She's like, "Yeah, like I sold them." I had so many Bakugans too.
Yeah, I had some crazy ones. I remember the kids at school were jealous.
Yes, same. One Christmas, my mom just got me so many fucking Bakugan.
That's hilarious. Just
I had a bunch of those like white ones. Like if you had the white ones, those were like the slick ones. And then
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Holy shit!" I got like tins of them.
Yeah.
Like fuck. Bakugan was a good time, and Beyblade.
Yes. Fucking Beyblade. Alright, so we're about 45 minutes in. So I'm going to switch a little bit because we've been talking about gaming pretty much this whole time. I'm going to switch a little bit to an area that you've been more focused on. We're going to talk about music a little bit.
Muzake.
Muzake. So one thing I've been thinking a lot about music lately. Actually,
Me too.
one thing that I realized, among many, is that in this group, there's like a lot of people have like their own like genre that they're really into. Like I've got city pop, you've got vaporwave, Rexro has K-pop, Cam has Eurobeat, Coco has Toho music. So I'm gonna ask you, what do you think that you can tell about someone's personality from the genre of music that they like, and how accurate do you think that is as like a corollary for other aspects of their personality?
What the fuck did you say?
What do you think that you can? What attributes of someone's personality do you think can be determined by like their preferred genre of music? If any, do you think that there's anything? Do you think there's any common denominator, or do you think it's totally unrelated to personality?
No, I think it kind of does. I just don't know if I quite know yet.
Mm.
Cause that is actually like you see memes about it and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when you bring it up to me like that, like where I kind of have to think about it specifically within my friend group and like my friends, and like these genres are a little these are a little more specific than like regular ones like pop rock, that
Right.
kinds of shit. Like this is like vaporwave, city pop, K-pop, Eurobeat. So like I for this one I would have to do a lot more thinking, but I do definitely think that there is something to be told from your personality off of the type of music that it's just the problem is that I would have to think about each person individually, and what I think that I would be able to tell off of them,
Mm.
off of their preferred genre. Like that's a big brain question.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What was the second part? Was there a second part to it?
No, it's basically just like the first part was, do you think that there's any relation, and if so, what is it? So basically, like you said
Oh,
yes, but you don't really know the answer to the second part, which is fair.
true. I need to do a lot more thinking to get to that, but I will start thinking about that. Maybe someday we'll have a follow up.
Yeah, because I'm not really sure either.
Yeah. Do you agree though that you think there is, or
Oh yeah,
do you not?
there has to be. There has
I
to
do
be.
too. I think so too. Like because like when I think about it, and when I think about like how I like vaporwave and how you like city pop and how Cam likes Eurobeat, it all makes sense to me. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. And like those are the type of people, like these are the type of people that I think would like I would see across each board.
Yeah.
But it's like I need to figure out why that is.
Yeah. Like Rexro is literally like a copy of one of my friends from OSU, and that guy also loves K-pop, and I'm like,
But yeah, exactly. And I've met people that are just like Rexer who love K-pop. And
yeah.
like I'm sure if I no, never mind, never mind. Never mind.
So, as I mentioned, you're a big vaporwave guy. You've been doing vaporwave
Love
all
it.
of the day.
Love it.
very deep in the genre. We just released our second Vaporwave album, as everyone
Love
should
it.
be downloading it right now.
Love it.
I gotta ask you, this is a big question.
Okay.
What do you think is the future of Vaporwave?
Who just entered?
I think it's Coco.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Coco.
Is Zombie still
Um,
going?
Yeah, Be's still gone.
yeah.
That is for damn sure.
It's been like 12 hours.
She's been gone for like fucking 10 hours or some shit. Long bath. Anyways, I'm just interviewing Mop. We're getting his thoughts on the
Okay.
future of Vaporwave.
Yeah. Okay, let me think. Okay, so the future of Vaporwave, I think that it is becoming, well, I'll tell you about the present of Vaporwave because that's what I know. The future, I need to think of maybe a little bit more, but I'll tell you about the present and what I see for at least the next few more years. A lot of vapor trap-esque, I want to say kind of almost like lo-fi indie R&B-ish kind of shit. I see synthwave, like I feel like Echo Jams type stuff, and like I feel like that will always kind of be a thing of vaporwave, but I feel like that is starting to move away just because that's always kind of been moving away after vaporwave started to become more of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that will always stay in. I think the big ambient age is kind of over, but I think that will kind of like the Echo Jams will continue to stick in. Just not to the extent that it was back in the day. Like it's not people are not going to make ambient albums for vaporwave, and people are not going to like do all that shit. Like I think things are going to have a lot more rhythm and all that types of shit in the next few years. But yeah, I see a lot of more lo-fi R&B type ish kinds of shit, I would say. Samples will always be prominent, but also people are doing a lot more original type shit and like original composing in vaporwave nowadays. Like once it started becoming like an actual thing and people stopped like overly excessively using samples, that like now we're starting to get to what that shit is, because now like when that first started people were doing that fucking ambient age and shit, but yeah, now I feel like it's becoming a little more established, and I think right now the way that music is in vaporwave, things have a really good blend. Like ambient albums a few years ago were really cool, but not everybody is an ambient fan, like, and that's like what the albums completely were composed of. A few years before that, okay, Echo Jams are great, but like that's what the entire albums used to be. Like I like that now we're starting to get more like of a mix. But yeah, what I see for the next few years is just more original and lo-fi-ish shit for TLDR.
Interesting. So I guess
oh, and Vapor Trap. Did I say Vapor Trap? I meant to say Vapor Trap. Vapor Trap is big in vaporwave right now. Just saying.
I think you're
super
right about
big.
that.
That's what I also meant. Like Vapor Trap and yeah. I don't know if I said that, but I meant to say that.
My question, I guess, more so than like I think you're right about the genres, but my question that I have as a follow-up then is, what do you think is going to become the messaging of vaporwave? Because originally there were a lot of like anti-capitalist, anti-consumerist themes, like that were made by, you know, sort of like exaggerating and creating like this hyperbole of it through the music and the imagery and everything. But it seems like the more and more that like the farther we go down this rabbit hole, it almost seems like vaporwave is becoming detached from any sort of messaging, which is in itself a
Yes.
message. So do you think that we're going to continue doing
Oh.
that, or do you think that vaporwave is going to continue to become more and more detached to the point that it actually is literally just meaningless, or do you think that like there's a new meaning that's going to come up, or do you think that there's going to be a resurgence of like the anti-capitalist stuff? What do you think is like the future for the messaging of it?
Meaningless because there's just too many meanings to too many different people. So, like, I think we'll see a resurgence and all that fucking capitalist shit for some artists who where that's really important to them and that's vaporwave to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall it'll be like, yeah, like kind of no meaning, which, like you said, brings meaning within itself.
Yeah. Because even when you look at future funk, where it's literally like there's no like deep message, or at least they don't make it with the
Yeah.
intention of it, and they're like, yeah, I just want to dance, just want to party, I want it to represent like that, that 80s nightlife and the bubble economy
Yeah.
of Japan, like that in
Yeah.
itself, whether or not you realize that is a message. It's
Yeah.
and people are going to get a message out of that, even if they are just grooving. Like that nostalgia for a time they never lived in, that in itself has a lot of implications for everything, for politics, for economics, for philosophy. Like you can extrapolate so much just from like a little dance sample just based off of the emotions that it elicits in you. So
True.
I would say that vaporwave can never truly be meaningless, no matter what you try to do with it. Like even if you just release like a total
Well, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said meaningless, but I think like everybody has a different meaning.
Yes.
And that's why I said meaningless.
Right.
Like everybody has a different meaning, and like I would not be able to say everybody's different meaning because there's just too many different ones.
Right. Yeah, I think I agree with that, and I think that is the path that we're going down. Cause like, even if you listen to Vectroid stuff like Floral Shop, like that's supposed to be a fucking anti-capitalist album, but
Yeah.
you don't really get that out. At least I don't.
No,
No,
I didn't get that until until I started researching.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I first listened to the album, and I was just like, "Oh, Diana Ross sample Slow Down."
So maybe that kind of just contributes further to like the nihilistic tendencies in vaporwave. It's like I'm trying to make an album about how meaningless everything is, and people can't even get the meaning out of that. So this whole thing is meaningless. So it's like a loop. It just makes it even more nihilistic.
I love Vaporwave. More on the way.
More on the way. It's one of the things that I really appreciate about vaporwave, and I guess this goes back to intentionality and like whether or not the meaning is intentional or unintentional, but it's been the preservation and resurgence of city pop. I think without vaporwave and future funk, we wouldn't have had that. Like people just wouldn't.
Especially future funk.
Yeah, especially future funk. Like, here's the thing: when you listen to like the stuff from like 2014 by like Young Babe, Macross, Saint Pepsi, a lot of those city pop samples that like people went fucking crazy over back in the day and thought they were the best thing ever, like those are pretty entry level city pop songs they were sampling.
No, you're right. Like that's fact, and that's crazy because like now everybody samples those same exact songs, and it's like, find something, like, just find something better. It takes 5 seconds. Like, those people, those pioneers who like did that back in the day, they did it like because, like you said, those were entry level samples, and like nobody else did what they did back in the day, so it was easy for them to do that. But now all these new artists are trying to like use this same exact samples that all these people use, and I'm like, bitch, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, and it's not that hard. Like, you go to the City Pop
Literally
Discord,
not.
you say, "Hey guys, any songs that sound like this?" and you get recommendations out the ass. Like, it's not that hard.
It's literally not hard.
So, but the fact that I think people can recognize that, like, everyone plays it. Like, you listen to big Twitch streamers. They're playing this like City Pop and Future Funk, like, on their streams, like all of them. Etika was playing this stuff before he died. Literally, if you go on Paradise Island by Miko Nakahara, all the comments are like, "Joy-Con boys." It's like, this, what reality are we living in? This could have never happened without Future Funk. And like channels like Artsy Music.
Oh yeah, true. Artsy Music is bomb.
Yeah, he.
Full Search and Destroy. If you're watching this, I love you.
But here's one of the terrifying things. So this, just bear with me. I'm gonna tie everything around. Here's one of the terrifying things about this, though, is with the resurgence of City Pop due to Future Funk. So one of my criticisms, I guess, is that at that time it seemed like Future Funk and Vaporwave were ahistorical, and by that I mean these samples that, you know, were really not widely known outside of Japan, rather than actually spreading them and like telling people where these samples are from. It's like these artists, these pioneers from like the 2014 era, like they just kind of sat on this, and it took the YouTube algorithm for this stuff to blow up. I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that there was never a moment where Young Bae came out and was like, "Hey guys, here's a fucking like 100 gigabyte file of all the City Pop songs I have." Like, and that makes sense, because when you have like this treasure trove of shit, like, you don't want to increase the competition, but at the same time, I think you owe it to the history to actually spread that shit. Because imagine trying to find one of these samples before they blew up. Imagine like Googling like fucking Japanese song about merry-go-round by Saint Pepsi. like imagine trying to find the sample. So one criticism I have is that it's ahistorical, but in a sense it ended up being historical precisely because things did eventually, eventually people were gonna find it. So they find this stuff mainly through the YouTube algorithm change in 2017. City Pop blows up. Rexro, it's probably just because they were massive weeaboos or had Japanese family or something. I don't know. But the stuff blows up. People find it. People start documenting. They get really into City Pop. They start documenting all this stuff, and it becomes more of a historical movement. Then we actually end up exactly where we started, in the position of being ahistorical, because when you go and you look at this stuff and you try to actually find details on a lot of this stuff, I say as someone who's fucking done so much research on various City Pop things, like, so much of the information is gone. Like, it's just been lost to the sands at times. It just was not documented. Like, I remember, to go off on a little bit of a story to demonstrate that point, when I was at Ohio State, I found a book in the library. It was in like the music and dance section, and it had an interview in it with Tatsuro Yamashita, and it was translated in English. And I took this book, I checked it out, and I went to the City Pop Discord and I said, "Hey, I found this interview. Is this anywhere on the internet? Have any of you ever heard of this?" And no one in the server had ever heard of it. So I used my roommate's scanner and scanned it and like distributed it to everyone, which was probably illegal, but whatever. But it was like, this interview, and it was like a big interview that talked about a lot of different topics, like both about personal life and about music, with the biggest artist in city pop, was nowhere on the internet. Nowhere. Like some random guy who stumbled upon this book that no one had touched in who knows how long in a library on a university campus. I had to be the one to archive that. And to me, normally, like, my main historical interests are ancient and medieval. And when I think so much stuff about something from the 1980s, 40 years ago, is lost, this is so terrifying. Imagine how much stuff from, like, ancient and medieval eras is lost. Imagine how much of our own history we don't know. So in a sense, we've ended up right back at the ahistorical point of the Vaporwave movement, because we now realize, at least I realize, maybe I'm just fucking insane, but I realize now that no matter what, we can't be historical, because we can't possibly document our entire history. If we can't document something from the 1980s when our parents were alive, imagine how much brilliance, how much genius of the human race has been lost. And that, inadvertently or not, re-emphasizes the nihilistic, meaningless stuff about Vaporwave. So do you think we're going to see a continuation of that in Vaporwave, or do you think that it's going to try desperately to become more of a historical movement?
Why not both?
Because if you embrace the meaninglessness, I think you have to reject the attempt to be historical. But I don't think it works the other way. I think if you embrace the historical side, you're ultimately always going to end up at the meaninglessness.
But there won't be people on both sides of the spectrum?
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. If that's what you mean, then yeah, I'm sure there will be. But I mean, by and large, in terms of trends, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be like 50-50 roughly?
Wait, what was the question? If I think it's gonna keep doing what?
Do you think it's going to embrace more of a historical route and attempt to actually be documentative, or?
True. What do you mean by historical?
But as in, trying to be remembered Rexro, but one also trying to solidify remembrance of its roots with, like, actually documenting city pop stuff, like. So I guess
No.
I guess it is twofold. That's a good distinction to make, because there are two separate things in question here. One is itself being remembered, and two is helping its roots to be remembered. So I guess maybe those are two different issues, but I think if you by doing one, you do the other, I think. Yeah, I guess you could say maybe being remembered as a musical movement, but
I don't really think so, because isn't that just like, couldn't you just say that's like plunder phonics and like sampling? like
right.
Like, to me, that I don't really know what. To me, Vaporwave will die.
Really?
Yes. Okay, maybe not completely, but like I don't think people are going to be making it a lot. At some point.
And what do you think will kill it?
What'd you say?
What do you think will kill it?
Just people not wanting to do it anymore and not doing it anymore. Like, they're like kind of like with LPing. Like, kind of the same thing that happened with LPing. Okay, there's a huge oversaturation for some time, but then I feel like, okay, there's gonna be people that we know and love in the Vaporwave scene, and like if more people want to come in, okay, if they have good music to show, then great. Like, at least with music, like new artists can actually come through and shit.
Right.
Like, it's not like LP. So like that's possible, and that could keep it alive. But I don't know if I see that happening. I feel like Vaporwave's not. There's not enough people. I feel like, or in a few years there just won't be. But I could be completely wrong. Like that's just a complete. I don't even really have any reasoning behind it. That's just a complete talk out of my ass. But I do stand by it as of right now.
I mean, it makes sense because even within Vaporwave, we have seen fads come and go. So it's maybe that's indicative of the whole of Vaporwave, that it will eventually come and go.
Like the thing is like how Vaporwave is right now. I'm just like, this is Vaporwave? I would classify it as like not Vaporwave. And that's why I'm like, Vaporwave to me is kind of dying. Okay, I listened to the new Windows 96 album and I'm like, this is literally to me just like an R&B album. Well, I mean, I guess there's tons of other elements, but like, to what people can call like R&B and stuff. And then I listened to the new or not new, but this one was old, but it came out and it's called NXXXX whatever S. It's called what was it? Fujita Scale. That was a Vapor Trap album. Oh, that shit came out in 2014. I thought that came out in 2017. Okay, but still, I listened to that album and I was like, this is Vaporwave? Like, this, to me, this is just hip hop and trap. Like, this, like, I feel like stuff sounds so, the original stuff sounds like it could be so, like, classified as mainstream that I'm like, wow, this is Vaporwave? But that's probably because when I started listening to Vaporwave, all I was listening to was, Echo Jams types, where it's just a sample. So it could just be how it's evolving. But nevertheless, I like how it's evolving. Like, I think this stuff sounds great. I'm just like, wow, this sounds like, back then I would not have thought of this as Vaporwave. Like, I would be thinking of this as like mainstream hip hop and trap, and then like for other albums like R&B and shit.
So it sounds like potentially maybe the death of Vaporwave, if you want to call it that, could come about by the fact that more and more there's less and less musical characteristics that actually unite Vaporwave, that actually indicate, like, you could point to something and say that's Vaporwave, so eventually the movement just dissolves.
True.
So my question for that would be, do you think that in order for Vaporwave to survive, that it would have to transcend music
into something new?
Yeah, like adopt a new medium entirely.
Wait, what do you mean by that? New medium entirely?
Can
you elaborate a little?
Like, I don't know, like sometimes, so like any medium is inherently limiting, and like sometimes when I'm working in music, like this is something I've really been struggling with lately, is that when I'm working music, I feel like this is too limiting to like get my point across, and like I wonder, like I often, like I feel like I want to create like just a new medium altogether. Like it's like it's like saying you have a computer language, a programming language, and you're like, I can't make the program I want with this language, so I'm just gonna make an entirely new language. Do you think that like eventually like Vaporwaves, do you think it's indicative of this, that so many people are going in so many different ways and still trying to do roughly the same thing that is Vaporwave, that maybe that's indicative of them needing just a new language entirely, a new creative medium, whether that be some combination of like music and visual stuff or like performance, or do you think that they're going to have to transcend music at some point if they want to survive?
Kind of. If they want to survive, yeah, kind of. Because like I think shit's gonna just like it's gonna be hard to determine. But the thing is, and like, yeah, like it's gonna be hard to determine. But here's kind of some um reasons I have behind it. So I'm like, yeah, right now, fucking okay, like, sorry, I keep going back to Windows 96, but okay, so he just released a new album, Vaporwave or whatever, but like I just said, he sounds kind of like something that I could hear that was like mainstream or like from a non-vaporwave artist, I guess. So like I feel like eventually he'll start doing that on his own project. And I mean, look at Saint Pepsi. He did that with the fucking Skylar Spence shit. He like started singing and he named it Skylar's, like, you know, he went to a new project and he was like he was kind of trying to move away from what he was doing, like the vaporwave that he was doing, and not necessarily in his new project he was trying to take away vaporwave at all, but he was not doing the same shit that he was doing. Like it was completely new. So yeah, like it's gonna. I think, yeah, if they want to, in many future years, when people stop doing it and they move on to other, because people are gonna move on to just other genres and just other projects, and like as they get better, they're gonna just be doing their own shit. And as people die out, and I don't know if new people are going to come in, but definitely probable because it's music. But if nobody comes in, then yeah, I see shit dying. Because we'll have to rely on kind of like in LPs too. Like we'll have to rely on like revivals of like people that we like.
Yeah. That'd be
Like,
kind of ironic. A genre based in nostalgia relies on its own nostalgia to survive.
that would be ironic. But that would bring a new meaning.
Yeah, there's a whole other layer of irony there.
Facts.
There's just too many layers.
But it's kind of weird because I feel like that's almost starting to happen. Like, wait, when was the... Hold on, let me see something. I want to see something with Macintosh Plus. When did they release this shit?
Wasn't that like 2011?
Oh, they released... Oh, wow, this is a big... Yeah, Macintosh Plus came out in 2011, but this is a big discography for Vectroid. I didn't realize how big this was.
Yeah.
But still, okay, so Macintosh Plus, we didn't see a revival until 2019, and that was a big thing. So, like, it's already kind of happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, yeah, Vectroid was still releasing music, but, like, under a different alias.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of the same thing. Like, I witnessed something similar. So, Pad Chennington recently announced this thing called, like, Pad's Block Party or whatever.
Block Party?
Yeah. And I watched the announcement video live, and I remember, like, you know, he announced all these big names, heavy hitters, but when it got to Saint Pepsi, the chat went crazy. And it was like, why is that reaction?
Yeah,
like,
for real.
he's named some artists who are arguably bigger than Saint Pepsi now. So why is the chat going crazy for Saint Pepsi of all people? Is he just that much more talented, or do you think like there's got to be an element of nostalgia there?
True, I think so. I think so.
So
Yeah, I really do see Vaporwave dying out someday, which is sad because I really love it.
Yeah.
Like, and I really want to like keep making Vaporwave. I have like a lot of plans, but I don't know if they'll ever see the light of day. Because like Vaporwave could end tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Rexro. Like, it only dies if you let it die. Like, as long as there's one person making it, like it's technically not dead, right?
True.
But like people still make punk, and everyone says punk is dead. So I don't know if it's like it's technically true, but I don't know like how practically true that is.
True. And like punk's a little different from vaporwave. Just because punk or just because vaporwave, I don't know if vaporwave was ever really like mainstream.
True. True.
Yeah, it's called a micro genre.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get we're gonna go a little bit broader with music, I guess, kind of going off of kind of turning from like the what music is as a medium question. We're gonna like so I've been thinking about philosophy of music a lot lately, and like I never took a class in this stuff, so I'm kind of catching up on it. Just kind of been giving myself a crash course, and one of the things I've been thinking of is the relationship between like math and music.
Ew.
Because we all, because like we all know
Hate
that
math.
rhythm is just basically mathematics, right? Like
Yeah,
you can
true.
you can basically analyze rhythm in that way, but I think also pitch
True.
is also kind of just math in itself. So like when you think of like a rhythm instrument, or like all instruments have rhythm, but if you think of like a totally rhythmic instrument, like an auxiliary percussion, like you're playing your snare drum, right? And like that's all like that's rhythm, and it's all mathematical. You don't have to worry about pitches. It's literally just like you're counting. But at the same time, I think that there's something intuitive about it with like determining pitches as well. So like let's say you're playing piano, and like like eventually you determine like the amount of space to like spread your fingers to get the right interval that you want. So like if you're like you look at some of these piano players and they just bust out those left hand octaves, and like they just know like it's obviously muscle memory, but I think that in itself is mathematical because it's like a measurement. Like you spread your fingers this much, this much, this much, but and it's like it's internalized in you as muscle memory, but it is mathematical. And I see, I guess, a parallel to this. Yeah, and Rexro raised a good point about frequency as well. But in terms of performance, it's kind of like I think of it in terms of relating it to video games. So, like with video games, you have games that are more execution based. So this would be like a lot of fighting games, like especially like Melee, as it comes to mind. Like it's based like on how well you can execute things. So this is like, obviously like a good musician can execute very well with precision, but at the same time there's also games that are very knowledge based like Pokemon. But eventually with Pokemon you get that same sort of intuition that you have with muscle memory. So like you can look at a Pokemon and like you can look at the team composition and tell which set a certain Pokemon on it will have just without even really thinking about it, or you can like start doing calcs without doing calculations. You can start just knowing what kills and what doesn't given various EV spreads for that set. So basically when you look at that and how it becomes intuitive, similar to muscle memory, it makes me think is execution just more knowledge and thus purely mathematical, or do you think that there's some sort of non-mathematical thing, something that transcends something that can be reduced to just knowledge and mathematics and music? Is there some sort of like transcendent, almost magical quality to being able to perform well?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think for everybody, but I
Oh.
think for some people, definitely.
Mm.
Like, kind of yeah, I do think so.
So with so like two things that you have a lot more experience than me in, uh, actually performing music and playing rhythm games. So since rhythm games is like in the space of video games, where this whole like execution and knowledge, like that's a very execution heavy thing. when you're playing a rhythm game versus like performing a musical piece, are you like in a different mind space, or do you think those are like ultimately the same thing?
Uh, when am I performing? Like, what am I performing? Am I singing? Am I play like? Because here's the
Um,
thing. If I'm singing, that's what's most natural to me.
mhm.
Like, as opposed to if I was drumming or like playing the piano or something. Like, I feel like I'm in a different headspace doing that than singing.
Yeah.
But playing the marimba, that was like the same headspace as singing, but I almost feel like those were a different headspace than DDR
Mhm.
because I don't know. Performing is like yo, I don't even know how to describe what I like when I'm performing, I completely kind of like black the fuck out like while I'm performing. But
Would you say
when
it's a
I'm
flow state?
what
Would you say it's a flow state?
what does that mean?
Like flow, so like in psychology, there's this concept of flow where like you kind of, you're not like consciously doing it. You kind of just like you're just naturally
Oh,
doing
that's
it.
like when you're okay, I've seen that. That's like when you're driving and you like drive through a red light and you like don't even realize what you're doing because you've driven that same route that so many
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Okay, so um no, because it can be a new song that and it won't like and that will still feel different as to like I guess kind of with DDR it's a flow state like even if it's
Yeah,
a new song or something.
right.
But with singing and stuff it's not necessarily a flow state, but it's like I be feeling like I
Mm,
like it's a different feeling
mm,
like but maybe that's because I'm so like there's usually other people.
right. That's what I
So
was gonna
maybe that
ask. Do you think that ego plays a role in this, and that if we somehow totally
well,
eliminated ego, that they would be the same?
here's the thing. Also with DDR, like people are usually watching me. So I mean, yeah, that's a good question. It's a good question. Um, okay, can you elaborate a little bit more?
Uh, yeah, I guess just on the point about ego, like, do you think
Yeah.
that like if ego played no role, like if you were literally just doing the act, like essentially without trying, like if you were in a flow state for both, uh, and like you were just operating without, like if you were able to just say I'm doing this action and not think about anything else, and
Mhm.
like do you think that they would ultimately both reduce to the same thing, which is like ultimately just knowledge and execution, which I'm asserting is ultimately just more knowledge? Or do you still think that even in that case where the ego plays no role, that there's still something in the actual performance that is absent in like say DDR?
Um, of singing, like of like singing and that kinds of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Any sort of performance. Yeah.
I do think there is something absent in there of like DDR, but like okay, even but here's the thing. Okay, even if people weren't there, if I was in the right setting, like if I could be singing in a fucking just like out like outside and there's just like nobody listening, but it's just like I can just hear it reverberated. Like, let's say nobody's there. Even that I would feel good. But I guess it wouldn't feel the same like gratification feeling of after you perform and they clap. So I guess it is a little bit different. But the actual performance itself is what we were focusing on.
Right.
So yeah, well, no, actually it is different too, because if I was singing out, like let's say I was singing outside to nobody, to myself, I probably wouldn't be nervous. I probably wouldn't think anything. Like I just, it would probably be flow state-ish. Like, but when there's like, yeah, so I think ego does play into the singing thing.
Right.
But the thing is with DDR, I don't give a fuck. I never give a fuck. Like never. Like we were saying, like there was no kind of point of me to doing it. Like I was just doing it to do it. Like I picked it up and I played it because it looked fun and cool, like to me, like a fun game. And the only reason I got good at it is because I became so obsessed with it and played it all the time. And it becomes such a flow state. And I'm not like, when I play in front of people that game and stuff, I'm not nervous or anything like that, because number one, I know I'm good at that game. Number two, like I don't care if I wasn't. That like DDR, like it's a video game. I don't really give a fuck. But like I also know that I am, so there's just really nothing to it. But no matter what, when I do play that game, I do feel an adrenaline and all that stuff, just because it's like a game where you're fucking exercising, I guess.
Yeah. And to me, it does seem like there is a goal in mind. Otherwise, otherwise, I feel like you wouldn't play it, right? If your goal wasn't to do something in it, whether that goal is literally just to have fun or whether it's to perform well.
Well, yeah, if the goal is to have, I feel like everything always has a goal.
Yeah, I agree. But to me, it's it's kind of just like, in order to work toward a goal, I feel like you have to desire the end of that goal, and if you don't achieve that end, I feel like that just hurts at a fundamental level. Even if you don't think it does, like something deep inside of you like hurts because that. And I don't know if that's solely ego or if that's if that's just something else that like you can't get rid of.
Maybe.
But like I think it's poignant to like this whole thing about execution and knowledge, because if you can separate the two, then you can say like oh, I just I know the right thing to do to achieve this goal, but like, yeah, man, I just fucked up my wave dash or some shit, like it just happens. But if you really if you can't differentiate the two and you ultimately determine that execution is just based in knowledge, then it kind of is just like, yeah, like you didn't reach the goal because you didn't cultivate the knowledge that you needed, which kind of seems like a bleak way to look at this stuff, but I'm struggling to like find a way to view any human action outside of that framework. But the reason that I bring it up in the realm of like music and performance is because that really does seem to be where people say that like they take on like a new persona almost. And
it's weird because, okay, the thing is though is like I would be able to express myself with that, with what I was just saying, so much more if I could perform like my actual music and not a show that somebody wrote and I'm playing a character of. Like, I want to play the character of me that I created. Like, that's me. Like, I don't want to play a character that somebody else fucking wrote because I didn't write it. Fucking, it's not me. Like, I want to fucking be me. And because even like, if I would get out on a stage doing my own shit, I would still be a different, like, I know I would still leave my body kind of like I did in performing like I have in the past. I know it would be the same type of feeling, but I know that I would be able to take everything in a lot more. Like, I know that I would actually be able to feel things and get things throughout. And I think maybe I would actually be able to reach a point where it's not like I felt like in the past, my whole brain was kind of like leaving me during the performances. But I feel like if I was performing my own stuff, I'd be able to think about things a little bit more during the performances.
Do you think maybe that difference is just literally authenticity?
Yes.
No, that's interesting.
Probably. Like, the thing is, and that's like true though, because like I was just saying, like, I want to play the character of me. Like sure, in my music, like, okay, essentially in all of my music you're gonna get a past me. But like, it's kind of essential and appropriate that if I am making this music and if I would want to perform it and that I do that, like, I would be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that even make sense?
Yeah. Huh.
Like, I think it would be, yeah, exactly what you were saying with the fucking, like, yeah, that difference is just being authentic. What I was about to do was just kind of ramble on about that statement, but yeah, exactly.
So do you think the inauthentic...
Also, sorry to interrupt, but Victoria Walters 15 minutes ago just purchased RNH2.
She's still in the call. But hey, I'm glad she purchased. Thank you, Ombi.
Thank you for
So do you think that maybe that inauthenticity comes from like other pieces becoming routine precisely because of sort of that intuition? So like by that I mean when I look at like when I look at Pokemon and I can tell like, oh, that's like Choice Banded or whatever, like, and I can just tell that and I'm just like, oh, this shit again, right? Or like, oh, that's Wish Clefable, whatever, like I've seen this 1,000 times today. Do you think that like once you have been so immersed in music that like when you listen to like harmonies and chord progressions you can basically like predict what's coming next, whereas with your if it was you and your creation, that like that you wouldn't grow as tired with the routine of it all, that because you were always in control, so even if things do become routine it's intentional and therefore more authentic.
Like, I want to say, like, not necessarily, because if somebody could just fucking write some shit that was, like, fucking fun and fucking wouldn't get me into, like, a fucking, like, a routine. Like, with the shows that I was doing and shit, if it was, like, okay, if this shit would have been written fucking well enough to, like, not make me feel like it's a routine, then maybe it wouldn't fucking feel like a routine. And like, you only learn a show in like a few months. Like, it shouldn't take, like, what the fuck? Like, like, what the fuck?
Right.
It's like, I think, but also fault in that could be me not immersing myself enough,
Right.
and understanding it enough. Maybe there's things I didn't get in, like, when I think that about certain works of art.
But that is partially on the end of the composer, because the routineness can sort of be a barrier between, the you and actually being immersed in it.
Yeah.
And I guess on the side of music theory, what this is making me think of is the importance of non-functional harmony, because like that subverts your expectations. It goes against the routine. Right?
Yeah.
Like I just watched 8-bit music theory's video on non-functional harmony and Chrono Trigger. So this is why I'm thinking of this. Like that's why Chrono Trigger's soundtrack is so incredible. It's because of the non-functional harmony. It's because it's not like every other game. It's not like every other RPG soundtrack. You don't know.
But exactly, if somebody if somebody can make something good, like Chrono Trigger, see, they didn't do what everybody else was doing. They did something different. Exactly, though. Like, they made something good enough to keep people immersed, listening, kind of like real nigga hours. You said every day I learned something new about RNH, and I agree.
I don't know if I like using the term good enough here, though, because by a lot of like metrics, isn't non-functional harmony kind of like not good?
Okay, it all comes down to what a person perceives as good,
Right.
though. Now, like the thing is about good is that it's so there's so much of it.
Yeah.
There's so much of it. It's traditional, I guess, but that's not really the word I'm looking for, but I guess.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word. But see, what they did was something different. And yeah, I guess it wasn't necessarily good, but to me that kinds of stuff is good.
Mm.
That's another thing where it all kind of comes down to the person, but I would say that they did something right.
Yeah, for sure. They must have. But I think, yeah, I don't want to get into the whole like objective subjective thing, because I think that's a can of worms we could be here for hours on. But I do think that there is some objective nature of beauty. I guess I'm a Platonist in that sense, but in the realm of art and music, a lot of it is subjective insofar as art is a subject, not an object, and thus it requires the perception of, my bad, it's an object, not a subject, so it requires the perception to be perceived by a subject, and the subject, not every subject is the same. So I think the subjectivity lies not in the art itself, but in the perceived. Basically, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but I don't think that's true. Like, I don't think that's the true nature of beauty, but I think that whether or not we call something, like, good, like, that is kind of totally up, because the entire nature of it isn't known directly to us. I don't think we can actually, even though I think this nature exists, I don't think it's, like, within our grasp, within our comprehension. So yeah, I guess in that sense, like, who's to say a song that's just full of completely non-functional harmony, like, who's to say that's bad, because if it's authentic, then, like, that's going to sound way better than, like, classical piece number 8,422.
Exactly. That's how I feel, though. Yo. Like, I've had to make so many fucking inventions and fucking weird ass, stupid ass, fucking dumbass shits that I don't fucking care about, and that I also don't think even sounds good. And then my fucking professors and teachers are like, "Oh my god, this is so good," and I'm like, "This is the most boring ass shit I've ever created. What the fuck are you thinking?" Like, but yeah, the Chronos Trigger soundtrack is really good.
Yes. And so is Chrono Cross's soundtrack.
I need to listen to. I've heard that. Maybe you were the one that told me that.
It was
I need to
definitely
listen
me.
to the Chrono Cross soundtrack.
They both have great soundtracks. And they're
I
both
couldn't
great
remember
games.
if it was you or VG that told me that.
It was
Maybe
probably
both.
me. Maybe both, yeah. So I'll ask maybe one or two. Maybe I'll ask like one question, and this will probably spawn another question on like philosophy of music. So there's been a lot of work done on the work of like Martin Heidegger relating to music. This is actually a lot of this work I've discovered has been done at your university, and
Oh shit.
yeah. So one of the things that like so Heidegger actually wrote about music a little bit, although a lot of the work being done is like what the fuck did he actually mean about this? And one of the things that he writes about is sort of so like he says that you can get truth out of music, but you have to like be in tune and like you
Yeah.
have to be in tune with the music. And
Hmm.
what I think with a lot of people is that they struggle to see like the truth in music or get truth out of music, like when you think of stuff like especially with like more experimental stuff, like you hear this a lot with Death Grips or like stuff like Trout Mask Replica, or even with a lot of Vaporwave, people just say like it's just noise, or like there's
Hmm.
like why the fuck would I listen to this sounds terrible. And it's like, do you think that there's a way to get people in tune with that music, and if so, how?
um. Yes, there is. Um. Just okay, but here's the thing. Like we're kind of like we started the conversation with. Well, no, we didn't necessarily start with this, but the vaporwave conversation. Vaporwave is kind of a lot of different things now. So
Mm-hmm.
like if you found, I think if a person found a certain part of vaporwave that they really like or parts and then stuck with those, then that's how they could become attuned to it. But also part of it is like, yeah, like people don't listen and like understand the meanings and truths of it because they don't like, some people just don't give a fuck enough
Right.
because it's like when you're listening to some random artist, it's like, why the fuck would I give a fuck, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think if people started to give a fuck about the artist and like their story and truths and that kinds of stuff, then yes, that would actually make them a lot more interested
Mm.
in their music and that kinds of stuff. But like, no, yeah, actually, no, what I said, that's what I'm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I like what you said about backstory, because I took a course on philosophy and literature, and one of the
Uh-huh.
things that the professor pointed out is that why is it that in English classes and literature classes we always talk about the background of the author, but we rarely do that when we're reading a purely philosophical text. When we're looking at the philosophical text, we're always so focused on the argument, but just as the background of the author influences their work of fiction, the background of the author is going to influence their philosophical arguments in a philosophical work. And I think that applies to literally every medium.
Yeah. No, I could see, yeah, I definitely think you're right, probably.
So yeah, I do think that's a good way to make people in tune, because this is my thesis. I like what you said, because this actually kind of reaffirms my thesis about this, and this is viewing music as community. And I don't, although that could manifest in like having like the vaporwave community, the city pop community. One way that
Yeah.
I think it manifests is identifying with the author, or not the author, but the musician, or the author, whatever, with the composer, with not just what they're trying to say, but why they're saying it. And
Mhm.
that, I think, also not only applies to the listener, but the performer, because then
Mhm.
that makes it a more authentic experience, because it gives you something to identify with, and you then are in community. Like, you feel a sense of belonging in that particular piece because you identify with the creator of it.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
So then how do we how do we how do we make music more, I guess, communal in that sense?
Fuck. Okay, wait, can you respit that idea? Because
How are we able to?
I know you hate repeating yourself, but can you
No,
respit
no,
the
no, no, no,
idea?
no.
Because
It's
I
cool.
am gonna be doing some major thinking.
Okay, okay. So how do we make it? How do we like shift to get people in tune to be able to be receptive to truth from music? How do
Yeah.
we make their perception of music shift from being an isolated individual experience to an experience in which they are in a community with the composer
Okay.
or the performer?
See, this is something that I struggle with to kind of even figure out myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, damn, this is actually really hard when you think about it, like just music too.
Yeah.
Like, damn, fuck. Okay, how do we make it so there's more interested in your truths? And so that the music is not an individual experience for them, but a communal experience for everybody. Okay. Yeah, I understand what your question is. This is a really hard question. This is a deep
It
question.
is. It is. There are PhD students at your university writing about this.
Like, okay, there's ways to do it. You just have to, okay, here's the thing. It's easy for, to me, it's easy for small groups, but this would be harder for a bigger group. But in order to do that, you just fucking you like I don't know. How do you make them interest? This is a hard fucking question, Willie. This is a hard question, but I want to give an answer. Like I want to give an answer. But this one's hard.
That's why I saved it for last.
Like damn, this one's hard. Like you have to, okay, like here's the thing. You have to make them more interested in you.
Mm.
For that's one part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like because if you want them to be interested in your truths and stuff, they have to be interested in you, you know, like
Yeah.
to get themselves immersed in the art. But that also makes it not an individual, like not just an individual
Yeah.
experience. But I also think that there's more that can be done to make a communal listening
I
experience.
think a great approach, not necessarily foolproof, but I think a great approach is concept albums,
Love them.
because every community has its own narrative. You know, we call it lore. Like, oh, you know the STC lore. Like,
Mhm.
that's our narrative. And we're all able to participate in that narrative by being there. We mold the narrative. And as the
Yeah.
listener, by getting a truth out of the narrative, you are therefore a participant in it. But you have to give them that narrative. And concept albums give them the narrative, like, as straightforward as you possibly can.
Yeah, I like concept albums. They're good. They're my favorite kind of album.
I agree.
Who the fuck be parking at my house? Oh, they're parking at my neighbor's house. Oh no, it was probably for my mom. I bet it's probably DoorDash.
Love DoorDash. Love DoorDash.
She literally be getting that shit every day. But yeah, this is an interesting question, and yeah, concept albums are great. Love them. I think there's actually a lot to that question. I just wish there was words I could form to it. But I think there's a lot of different parts to it, I feel like.
Yeah, there definitely are. Like, there's so much that I want to pick apart in there, but I'm not sure where to begin.
True. There's so much I want to do with our music too. But it's just a matter of I don't know if anybody would give a fuck or
Yes.
even want it.
Yes.
Like it's just do like okay, like would they even like want like it's like would I be doing it and people would be like ew like
And that's why this question is so important.
yeah, like it's like and that's why yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's rough. The good thing is though is as of right now, like we were talking about earlier, eventually like the routine becomes so much of a routine that I feel like it can get boring. But as of right now, I'm not bored of the routine, which is good. Because I have many goals to achieve yet.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but there's also like I was just saying, there's so much I want to do with our music beyond the goals that I have set right now. Like I would love to make like live sets. I would love to like make the cassettes. I would love to press vinyls. I would love to all of it, CDs, everything. I would love like across the board for everything, but it's like nobody would care. So it's just like not worth it.
Yeah, that's
Except for just a few things. Like I would love to do that for everything, but like I can only do it for if I even do it at all.
Yeah, this goes back to the question that I asked Cam in his interview, like if resources weren't an issue, what would you do creatively? Like then that's a totally different question than like what are you going to do creatively?
Well, and here's another. Oh, well, I'll come back to that because I'll need you to re-ask me that. But like another thing is like, oh wait, what was the question? What was the question?
I wasn't really making that. I was just making a point that you made about how like
Hold on.
you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an interruption on this interview. Shout out to everybody who purchased Unique Hours too.
Hold on, I'm so sorry.
It's
Somebody's like at my house, and apparently mom didn't get DoorDash.
Ooh. Are you gonna hide behind your couch again?
I'm hiding in my room. My mom was like, Yanni, did you order something? And I was like,
No, bitch.
I was like, I mean, I did order something, but not from a van.
I don't want no ravioli, nigga.
Exactly. These people are just parked at my house. What the fuck is going on?
This is intense.
This is
who's
like
gonna deliver
ravioli.
the package?
Give me the formula. Wait, why are these bitches just parked at my house though? What the fuck? And they like, okay, here's the thing. They drove to my house, then they drove up, they like parked back, and then they drove because like they were having trouble. And That's why I thought it was DoorDash, because DoorDash always be having trouble. Oh, they just got out. They just opened their door. They just opened their door.
Okay.
Wait, they opened it? Are they closing it again? What is going on? I hope my mom locked the door. This is fucking tense, viewers.
I'm scared. I'm scared for him.
The blacks heard me.
They heard everything we've been saying.
True.
They're coming for us.
They like started to get out of the car and then what if this is just like a mailman or some shit, yeah. They started to get out. Okay, now there's a that's just my neighbor. But what if this car that is still parked here? And they opened their door and then they put their right foot out and then they put it back in. Like hokey pokey. Okay, whatever, fuck this person. Okay, so what was the question?
Fuck. I was making, I don't think I was really asking a question. I was making a point about how like you brought up like I guess like there's a lot you want to do but only so much you can do. And
oh yeah, and then you're like talking about cam and like resources and like
like
money.
What you creatively want to do is like very different than like what you creatively would do if resources weren't an issue.
True, but also resource. Okay, oh, does resources even mean fans?
I mean, fans equal money and money equals resources, so yeah, I guess so.
Because like the thing is like I'm kind of like, okay, I saw Blank Banshee did a virtual live set once and I was like, I would love to do that, but a total of like 2 people would come,
right?
So like there's like no point.
Yeah,
but like I have all the other resources I think I need. I could make a banging ass flowing ass. Yo, if I made a live set, I would remix our songs and it would be cool. Like it would be cool.
Like you'd be spinning.
Like it would be cool as fuck.
If you ain't spinning, you ain't winning.
Facts.
So we've done some big topics.
The missing resource is the fans. Like I said in 2015, we need more fans.
He said it in every interview. He's going to keep saying it in every interview until we get more fans.
Until we die, yo. Until we die. Even if we have the whole world on our side, I'm going to be like, we need more.
You people need to have more children so we have more fans.
Exactly. Fucking facts.
So yeah, we've dealt with some heavy topics for this. I'm gonna end on a lighthearted one. You've probably noticed in many of the recent interviews, I've always played One Gotta Go, where I named 4 things in a various category. I didn't come up with this beforehand when I was writing the question, so I'm doing this off the dome, because I just remembered I didn't come up with one for you, and I want to continue the trend. So I'm going to ask you, One Gotta Go, pizza joints. Which one would you slice from existence if you had to? Papa John's, Domino's, Pizza Hut, or Little Caesars?
Domino's.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Literally, I swear on my life, bro.
Domino's will burn. I would say Pizza Hut every day of the week, but damn.
I wouldn't.
Domino's burned to the ground. Fuck Cody.
Oh, the people that came here are the people to fucking, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, leaf blowing or some shit. Sorry. But yeah, Domino's will burn.
Wow, you guys
like,
here.
I'll even give you my reasoning.
Okay.
Like this isn't even a thing. Okay. So Papa John's. So yeah, Papa John's gives me stomach ache, but literally so does every pizza chain. Okay. So like Papa John's, I love you. Their cheesy bread, love you, never fail. So good. Papa said nigger, and also Papa, his pizza's pretty good sometimes, although sometimes it's really bad. Can't even lie. But I will say it's a lot more consistent than Domino's to me.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Pizza Hut is not amazing, but they at least have stuffed crust pizza, which is pretty good. And they got the stuffed crust, and their original pan is like okay, like it's pretty good. It's a childhood taste. Like that's a nostalgia taste. Like that's my Sugar Conroy.
True, but didn't they change the recipe on that?
They might have, but shit still kind of tastes the same to me. But okay, so yeah. Oh, and their cheese sticks and breadsticks are to die for, by the way. Also, I forgot about that. Little Caesars, great price.
Yeah.
Pizza's not bad at all.
I agree.
I feel like they've changed their shit at some point too, and it's not a bad change. Like their shit's pretty good. Their Italian cheesy bread is great. Their crazy bread's great. I hear they have this new stuffed crazy bread. I need to try that.
Yeah.
Little Caesars is always consistent and amazing with the sides, and usually with the pizza too. And the price can't beat it.
So you think Domino's is like the least consistent?
Domino's will burn.
Okay.
Domino's is not consistent. Domino's, the price is... Wait, were you guys saying the price was good?
For Domino's, yeah, they have good deals.
Okay. I haven't really compared, so I can't say anything on that, but I just want to say for what I've been getting from Domino's, it was shitty. Like, I'm not saying the price was too high or anything. I'm just saying the food was shitty. Yeah. Like, I'm saying, like, they gave me some shit-ass, crack-ass food. They gave me some unmelted-ass cheese in my stuffed cheesy bread. Like, what the fuck was that?
I agree. That's unacceptable.
And they didn't put garlic butter seasoning on my hand-tossed pizza, which is the only feature that is, like, actually makes it fucking good and hand-tossed.
True.
And the marble cookie brownie was okay, but it was like not as melty and gooey as it should have been. Like that shit had some crunch to it, yo. At least it wasn't cold though.
True.
Wasn't cold, but it had some crunch to it. I should have got the lava cakes, because those are usually pretty good.
Yeah, those are
fire.
Fire.
Yeah. True. Oh yeah, true. What Rexro said. Fuck Arby's. Very true.
I don't know. He's talking about Arby's, but fuck Arby's.
Very true. But yeah, Domino's sucks, and every single. I've been saying this for a long time. At least my Domino's sucks. I always said it tastes like they made the pizza, then they like ran it under the sink, or like wet dog. Exactly, like fucking wet dog. I've been saying that for years, and it still holds true. And also another thing that I want to say about the pizza yesterday was it was like soupy as fuck. Like, yeah, like so much sauce. It was like a fucking, that shit was terrible. I was just like, and the first bite I took of the pizza, the only reason I ate a little bit of it, by the way, is because I fucking paid for it. And because I was fucking starving too. But the first few bites of it I took tasted like fucking meat. Like Arby's, we have the meats, and I was like, I'm a vegetarian, bitch.
Like what the
fuck? What the fuck is this? And that's not the first time that I've had Domino's that tasted like that. So fuck Domino's. They will burn. I literally, the only reason I got them last night was because like they were my last resort. They were the only thing open. And they did me dirty. I should have went to Sheetz and got a Sheetz pizza, because Sheetz pizza also sucks ass, but would have been cheaper and better than Domino's.
Sure. That's a fact. Well, we have hit the 2-hour mark. We're at 2 hours and 9 minutes. Would you like to offer any final words to wrap up this extravaganza?
I'm glad. Okay, yeah, I have a lot of final words actually.
All right.
Okay,
let's hear it.
I'm glad that I was not falling asleep in the last 30 seconds of this video. Big improvement.
Yes, yes.
Um, thank you for having me for this. This is probably like 2020 is a big year. This is probably our most insightful, and we got big brained with this interview.
I told
Thank
you.
you for having me. Thank you for doing a lot of the music with me. Like, like for real. Like, and people that are watching this, so the people that made the music, please stream it and fuck Arby's. But yeah, please stream it because this shit is great. And like we've been saying, like we be telling stories though.
Yes.
Like we be telling
Yes.
stories though. Like, and Memories EP2 is about to come out. He's about to be telling stories though.
True, I'm spitting.
Memories 1 is out. He be telling stories though. Grad School's out. We be telling stories though. Mob Frizzy's out. We be telling stories though. RNH and RNH2. No matter what, like, I think my mom's yelling at me again. I don't even know what she's saying now. But like, even if everybody who listens to it thinks that it's just like bunches of compilations of tracks, then you haven't done enough listening.
Or enough thinking.
True. And both, like listening and thinking while listening, because there's much to think about with our music. And we have so many albums out now.
Full discography.
Literally, and more to come. And that, like, not a lot of people can say, like, what the fuck? Where's the future? The future is in July. I have it written on this paper. Well, actually, according to this paper, the future was in March. But,
Back to the future, baby.
Back to the Future. I also really crackheadily wrote RNH 2 AM on this paper because it was like a last minute shoe-in.
Nice.
And it also says October 31st on this paper.
Wow. When has that ever happened? We pushed it forward.
Exactly. But yeah, exactly, people. Like, get listening. Like, we got some shit. Like, we got some good ass shit.
True.
We got some perception.
We got it. We got it all. Everything you could ever want and more.
True.
And I hope that is what this interview has been for everyone. Thank you, Mom, so much for joining me tonight during this 24-hour call. And thank you.
Yeah, we be doing that.
We do be doing that. We're over halfway done. So, thank you for all that you do. And thank you to anyone who's watching. If you've watched this far, I hope you found it insightful and entertaining. And I guess we'll see you in the next video.
True.
Peace out.
Peace.